Did you know that this man killed over 50 people and was never caught? In the quiet suburbs of California, life in the mid-1970s felt peaceful. People trusted their neighborhoods. They slept with windows cracked open. They believed danger happened somewhere else. But in 1976, that illusion shattered. Because in the shadows of those same quiet streets walked a man who studied homes, stalked families, and memorized the sound of their footsteps. A man California would later fear under one chilling title: the Golden State Killer. It began on a warm June night in Rancho Cordova. A woman lying in bed heard something. A soft click, a rustle near her window, a hush of movement that didn't belong to the wind. She told herself it was nothing. A raccoon, a stray cat. She had no idea someone had been outside her house for days, kneeling in bushes, watching her turn off lights, timing how long it took her to fall asleep. And as she closed her eyes that night, the man crouched outside was already pushing the window up, inch by inch, silent as a shadow. It was the beginning of a decades-long nightmare. For years, he was a faceless terror, the Visalia ransacker, the East Area rapist, the original Night Stalker. 3 different names, 3 different counties, one man, Joseph James D'Angelo. His childhood was turbulent, marked by abuse, strict punishment, and a cold emotional void. Those who knew him remembered his sudden bursts of rage, his obsession with control, his precision while doing even the smallest tasks. By adulthood, he wore 2 faces. Face 1, a Navy veteran, a police officer, a neat, precise, quiet family man. Face 2, a prowler, a watcher, a man who practiced breaking in before he ever attacked. The terrifying part? Both faces were real. At first, the crime seemed almost harmless. Homes were found with drawers dumped out. Not valuables he did not steal for money, but some sense of control he took just personal things. Underwear, photographs, letters, medals. He took items that meant something only to the people who lived there. One woman came home to find her daughter's favorite toy placed neatly in the center of the bed like a message. Another found shoe prints leading to a window, and shoe prints leading away. He rarely stole anything valuable. He was learning your house, learning you. In June 1976, the pattern escalated. A woman was jolted awake by a blinding flashlight and a whisper, "Don't move, or you die." She froze. He tied her wrists, gagged her, and dragged her into the living room. He moved through her house like he'd lived there for years, opening drawers without hesitation, fetching knives without searching, turning lights on but leaving some off, as though he had rehearsed his steps. When he finally left, she lay there in silence, unsure if he was gone or waiting. He did this again, and again, and again. For 2 years, the East Area rapist terrorized Sacramento, his brutality escalating with each attack. He changed tactics when couples became his targets. He would tie the man first, blindfold him, bind his ankles. Then he placed dishes on the man's back and whispered, "If I hear a sound, if a single dish falls, you both die." The man had to stay frozen while listening to every moment of the attack, terrified to breathe, terrified to move. One survivor said the dishes on his back shook from his heartbeat alone. He never forgot the sound. By the early 1980s, the attacks turned deadly. Dr. Robert Offerman and Deborah Manning were found murdered in their home. Detectives saw signs of a struggle. Offerman had broken free from his bindings, fighting desperately, trying to protect Deborah. He didn't stand a chance. The killer shot him 3 times, then shot Deborah, then walked around the house casually, eating from their fridge, leaving shoe prints across the carpet. He wasn't rushed. He wasn't scared. He was comfortable. One of the most chilling details came from a survivor. After one attack, a woman reported seeing a man days later in a grocery store, watching her, not staring, just observing. A week later, someone tried her door at night. A month later, she moved cities, but the killer had her address. He had her new phone number. He called her and whispered, "I found you." Not all the murder victims were originally rape victims, but some investigators quietly believe he returned to specific ones to clean up loose ends. The timeline supports it. The pattern supports it. He always ended escalation with death. Charlene Smith and her husband were found in their Ventura home. Charlene had been raped and strangled with a ligature the killer brought himself. Her husband was tied and bludgeoned. Nothing valuable was taken. What rattled detectives most was how calm the killer moved through the home. He wiped certain surfaces meticulously, but left others untouched, as if he wanted them confused. And they were. Around 1986, the attacks ended. Just stopped. No more phone calls, no more footprints in flower beds, no more window screens removed. Some investigators believed he died. Others thought he was in prison. But the truth was far more terrifying. He had simply settled into a quiet suburban life. Barbecues, bicycles, a wife, children. The monster had never left. He had just gotten older and more invisible. Across California, police departments were drowning in cases. Different counties, different jurisdictions, different names for the same man. They had clues, rare Adidas footprints, unique knots, payphone calls, mask fibers, precise ligatures. But without DNA, they had nothing that tied everything together. The killer moved like a ghost, from city to city, county to county, always one step ahead. Detectives spent decades staring at the same evidence boxes, never knowing the man they hunted was buying groceries beside them or driving past their stations. In 2018, a cold case investigator tried something radical. He uploaded the killer's DNA to a public genealogy website. Not to find him, but to find his relatives. For days there was nothing. Then a match, then another, then a family tree. A tree that led straight to one quiet, aging man, Joseph James D'Angelo. Detectives followed him, watched him take out trash, waited until he threw away a tissue. They tested it. It matched. 40 years of fear ended with a single piece of garbage. On April 24, 2018, police arrested D'Angelo outside his home. Neighbors stared in disbelief. The man who waved politely, who rode his motorcycle, who seemed harmless, was one of the most sadistic predators in American history. In court, the calm mask fell away. He pleaded guilty to 13 murders, 50-plus rapes, 100-plus burglaries. He was sentenced to life without parole. It wasn't closure, but it was the truth, finally. Do you think he would have ever been caught if DNA technology hadn't advanced at the perfect moment?